Day or night, it's Test Night, and this is the channel where I do what I want. Has this video been done before? Yes. Do I care? No. Is this video really to just help my brain process the story in a big overarching way because I'm writing a fanfic? No comment. If you hear any noise, it's A, because I'm still recording in my living room, we're still moving into the house and so my office isn't set up. And I am pug sitting again. So you'll hear barking and pug snoring. Massive disclaimer about how these videos are going to be released. I don't like editing huge videos. I find it boring, and looking at an hour-long video, even one where I make all the art for, is so stressful, and the art would be stressful to do, so I'd rather do this in short chunks, which means this video series could be a couple videos long and just be part 1 in Shippuden. I'm not going to go into the Boruto stuff as I have not read or watched that. Or I might have multiple arcs in one video but not completely finish it. Alright. Eventually, once everything's all done, I might edit it all together into a mega video that's more cohesive and makes more sense. And if I do that, will not count as a weekly video, it would be a bonus video. So like how I update every Friday with a video, you would get this on like a Monday and it wouldn't count as the video for that week. Now, I loved Naruto as a kid. It has a special place in my heart because it's the biggest series I used to watch with my siblings weekly. And every time I've come back to rewatch it, I'm around the same ages as the characters. When I initially rewatched it in middle school, I was the same age in general as most of the Genin teams. In high school, 15 to 17. Same age as them in Shippuden. As an adult, I'm in my mid-20s, and it's helped the series stay relevant in my life. Also, I probably had a crush on Hinata growing up, but I didn't realize women were options, so I never realized it was a crush and wasn't just, man, she's so pretty and sweet, I'd like to be friends with her. Back to the actual topic and the reason for this video. Hinata on Team 7. I have multiple reasons I'd put her on Team 7. Early on, around late Chunin exams, it seemed like Hyuga clan dynamics were going to be more important than they ended up being. And then they show up again towards the end as one of the descendants of the Sasuke clan. The importance of it, yet none of the characters in the clan being super important feels weird. At least to me. Sakura was meant to be an everyman on the team, but not once did we ever focus on civilian life in that way that would put her in the spotlight. And between Naruto being a Jinchuriki and Sasuke being a Uchiha, she seems unimportant and no focus is given to her struggles. Now, this could just be because Kishimoto can't write women, which is valid criticism. He doesn't write Hinata especially well either, but she's in less scenes, so it's less noticeable. The chakra control of the Hyuga could have been used to keep the Ninetales in check, and I don't know how that was ever overlooked. Not to mention, regardless, we should have seen more Hyugas as medical ninja. They can see into the human body, and you can't tell me that wouldn't be useful. Hinata in particular would have been a really good medical ninja. She's caring, she can see into the patient. In the tuning exam, she made her own medical lotion type thing. Throughout these videos, I will be following the manga storyline, as there's less filler, thus less content I need to make. Even though I personally prefer the anime because of its filler. Team A only got content in filler 90% of the time. Naruto is basically a story of Team 7. Shikamaru got his little, Shikamaru's team got its mini arc in Shippuden. Lee got an entire spin-off series. It was a comedy series, but they still got a spin-off. And Hinata's team gets to have Hinata marry Naruto. Not exactly the best track record for them. Love Hinata. Shipped Naruto and Hinata since I was a kid, but not to mention it would have balanced the team better. I mean, you could technically call Sakura the taijutsu specialist, but she was never referenced as it. And Naruto's a clear ninjutsu specialist, and Sasuke should have been a genjutsu specialist with the Sharingan focused on genjutsu. So taijutsu basically being the Hyuga's thing makes sense if she were on Team 7. When I say Team 7, I'm referring to the original number associated with Team Kakashi. So, let's start with the bell exam. Because before that, there's not really any huge shifts. Naruto causes trouble. Hinata longs from afar. Naruto and Sasuke kiss, which I think is hilarious. Except Naruto isn't excited because Sakura's not on his team. And, maybe Hinata tries to approach him, but I could very well see, before the bell test, everything else lining up like it did. With the bell exam, Hinata has Neji as her cousin, and him being in his douche era, she would have heard of such a test beforehand. He would have bragged and told her she was gonna fail if the test was really this bad. Do I think Sasuke or Naruto would have believed her? No. Naruto only trusts Tsuruka at this point, and maybe Sasuke would have let her talk. I imagine he sees her as a nuisance who can't speak, though. The only thing that's going for is that technically Sasuke and Hinata are equals status-wise. They're both heirs at the time to their clans. So maybe Sasuke might listen to her? In general, their dynamics would start like this. Sasuke would scare Hinata because he's so much like her father and Neji attitude-wise, and she wouldn't be able to talk to Naruto. But as somebody who is a really shy kid, I think having to be around Naruto and Sasuke constantly would break her shell and make her less afraid of confrontation with them. I imagine Sasuke would also tell her not to talk if she wasn't going to not stutter, so she would slowly get over that out of necessity. By the mission in the Land of Waves, I imagine Hinata would barely be able to hold a conversation, but it still would be a conversation. This is where a bigger plot diversion happens. We know at this point Neji's Byakugan is more advanced than Hinata's, but we can still assume Hinata's has the basic of seeing chakra paths, just not chakra points. This would affect this arc in a few ways. Kakashi might have Hinata scout the area once he's suspicious to see how enemies are dealing with. Hinata would have given Naruto the healing lotion, medical lotion, whatever it was, here rather than in the Chunin exams. And there would be more of a push from Kakashi to send the team home after they realized how much more advanced this mission was. Because, Hinata is literally the heiress to one of the most powerful clans. So is Sasuke, but this rant ain't about that. I will go into that someday. Ultimately, the team will carry on anyways, though. Hinata probably semi-peer pressured by Sasuke, but also not wanting to let Naruto down. Depending on how Zabuza's mist works, Hinata would be able to give the boys a play-by-play on Kakashi's situation so they could react sooner. And she's likely to be in on or can put together Sasuke and Naruto's Shadow Shuriken plan. That's only if the mist isn't wibbly-wobbly chakra stuff and it's not chakra in the air. If it's chakra in the air, we are fucked. Now, because I don't know how chakra flows when somebody is dead, I can't say whether she'd be able to catch Zabuza's fake death or not. But to work around this, she's likely to have been exhausted after the use of her eyes for the time being, and would need to take a break. So once they think Zabuza was off, she probably deactivated her eyes to not overexert herself. Next, the tree climbing exercise. Obviously, Hinata's control is going to be much better than either of the boys'. But I also imagine Hinata would try to offer Naruto help by watching his chakra flow and letting him know when it's well balanced to climb the tree. This, combined with the medical lotion from earlier, would be the start of Naruto starting to lean on Hinata for support. And Sasuke would too. But in his own way, he would ask for assistance. In his own way, I mean slightly douchey. I swear I don't completely hate Sasuke. On the bridge, Hinata would be more useful in a fight, if only because she can, at minimum, call out what's happening. At most, she would notice the chakra difference in Haku's mirrors and try to communicate that to Sasuke, or Naruto when he showed up, if she could catch him before he did something stupid. But it's Naruto, so Sasuke would still end up as a pincushion, Naruto would end up nine-tailsing it, and I imagine this would concern Hinata because A, what the fuck's happening? And B, it seems to be hurting Naruto. Let's say chakra takes time to fade once a human is. So Hinata's not sure if Sasuke is alive or not. She's hoping for the best, but ultimately, she's not trained enough to know. In my fix, personally, I also tend to have Hinata attempting to stop Naruto's rampage and ending up with chakra burns because of it. This is my personal preference, because like with her future injury from Neji, it keeps rehappening, and it's both thematic and a bit funny to me. Anyways, big Haku reveal, Naruto announces his ninja way, yada yada, great Naruto bridge. Tuning exams. Hinata would be apprehensive at first, because at this point, Neji's but she knows from past clan members that you need all three members who apply to be accepted. She doesn't want to drag Naruto and Sasuke down, but she doesn't want to hold them back. So she would decide to apply, that way Naruto and Sasuke could at least get to the individual stage. I imagine the trio's closer at this point. Hinata can mostly speak without stuttering. Sasuke sees her as valuable on the team, and Naruto likes having somebody who's friendly towards him around. In the halls, Sasuke detects the Genjutsu early in the hall, but the group likely stopped because A, Naruto didn't detect it, and B, Hinata's probably standing there wondering how Lee of all people is getting his ass handed to him. Naruto tries to defend Lee, but Hinata stops him, explaining that he can handle himself, and Sasuke urges them to keep going, revealing the group knew about the Genjutsu the whole time, or at least he did. Naruto and Hinata just played along. Neji and Lee ask Sasuke's names. Neji throws some insults Hinata's way that make her uncomfortable. Naruto's pissed because this is his teammate. Also, Neji's ignoring him. Sasuke politely tells Neji to shove it and drags his own teammates off only to be challenged by Lee. Now, Hinata's gotta know there's no stopping this fight, but at this point, she realizes Sasuke's just as stubborn as Naruto. And she's partly been put on this team as a mediator. Because that seems like the kind of 90s bullshit that would happen, where they're just like, oh, we've got these two aggressive boy-like dudes, let's put a shy girl there and stop the fighting. Lee gets curd stomped by Guy, and the scene happens. As you've likely noticed, throughout this scene there is zero Lee flirting with the female member of Team 7. Why? Because even if Lee had a crush on Hinata, which he probably wouldn't, he would probably still like Sakura, he'd just meet her later in the exams, he would have seen her often enough due to her and Neji living at the same compound. So, the tuning exams wouldn't have been anything special, and from what we can see, Lee's very aggressive at first with his affection, but lays off it later. Team gets to the test room. We meet Kabuto and his ninja info cards. What the heck are those? Anyways, I didn't mention it because the scene basically happened the same without the joking about Sakura being Naruto's girlfriend, but Sasuke and them have met Gaara and co. They also meet the other Genin, and Sakura, now on Team 8, mentions a very creepy guy with big eyebrows hitting on her. So you get Lee being interested in Sakura. Of course, the written test happens as normal. Naruto's sitting by Sakura instead of Hinata, and he does his I won't give up speech. Anko enters early. After this, we have bigger changes to the plot. Firstly, as somebody who's had to drive or hike multiple hours with personalities similar to Sasuke and Naruto, and who personally has a personality similar to Hinata, around day 2 and 3, you snap. When they've been fighting over the stupidest shit for the 5th time that day, you want to tell them to shut the fuck up in the nicest way possible. And when they don't, after that, and there's no adult to make them stop, you find a way to shut them the fuck up. Even through being the shock of being the person to speak up. I don't care how soft-spoken or shy you are going to snap after the 3rd-ish day of dealing with Chucklefucks and Frowny the Clown. Look at those idiots and tell me after the 17th fight you aren't going to tell them both to shut the fuck up. I don't know, the team would stand a little bit better of a chance with Hinata's Byakugan. Of course, she'd probably have to take breaks, but when they got attacked, at least there's a minor heads up at minimum. They'd still be fairly outclassed. I mean, eventually Orochimaru and his whole face-stealing shtick shows up. They're children. They can't beat the Snake Man. The Snake Man is going to be the Snake Man and bite a child. Then he will fuck off. Naruto and Sasuke are down for the count, and Hinata has been overusing her Byakugan. So she's beyond exhausted, because before this, she's been scouting ahead and checking to see if people had the scroll they needed. She can barely hold off this sound group I can vaguely remember the looks of, but their names escape me. And there's no iconic haircut scene. Just an exhausted Hinata trying to protect her crush and sort of friend, who just recently started being kinda nice back. Sasuke wakes up, tells Hinata to take a nap, and murders these fuckers. I'm sorry, that's just how it goes. No Hinata hugging Sasuke from behind and stopping him. Sasuke just picks the exhausted Hyuga up, puts her in the tree to take a break, and murders the other children, but probably threatened to cut her eyes out and sell them on the black market. I mean, they're ninja. All these kids were bound to become murderers eventually. But it probably doesn't sit right with Hinata when she wakes up and Sasuke's covered in blood. Don't worry, Hina, it's not his. Of course, the group's behind the rest again. The plot carries on as usual after a bath to wash that blood off. They get the other scroll, and enter the next part of the exams. Issue here is that there are 3 bodies, short for the tournament. Here are the matchups. Most of them are the same. Gaara vs. Lee, sorry buddy, I need you to be alright for the plot. Ino vs. Sakura, this time Kiba annoying Sakura into waking up. Hinata vs. Neji, sorry sweetie, you're going to the hospital. Honestly, get pretty comfy there. Naruto vs. Kiba, Tenten vs. Tamari, Sasuke versus that one guy, Kankuro versus that other guy. Now we have the outliers. Shikamaru, Shino, and Choji don't have people to fight. So, Kabuto doesn't pussy out here. Shino fights Choji, Shikamaru fights Kabuto, who pussies out mid-fight, claiming he knows he's outmatched. Then the matchups for round 3 are about the same, just no bonus round for the sound guy who Gaara offs because Sasuke has already handled that. The biggest change I wasn't able to get into is, A, Hinata lasts much longer in the fight with Neji, and B, that fight is so much more personal to Naruto that Hinata got hurt. They're close at this point, and Naruto relies on Hinata and knows she doesn't hate him. They're friends at this point. Alright, on to the final part of the training exams. Obviously, Kakashi fucks off with Sasuke to go train him. Naruto goes off with Jiraiya after visiting Hinata in the hospital because fuck you at this point, Neji. This is one of the least changed arcs because A, Hinata's in the hospital, and B, Sakura didn't do much in this arc other than bring flowers. Honestly, this would have been the perfect time to show what civilian was like in the OG series and how it affected Sakura to go from a civilian life to basically joining the military, and how different her point of view is from her parents now. In this version, the chance to show how lonely Hinata is in her clan, how few visitors she gets, and even when her father does, he sounds disappointed at her for failing. And while her sister wants to comfort her, she's a child even tinier than Hinata. This also is where I would have sparked Sakura's interest in medical jutsu. I would do so in this AU with Hinata. She is comforted by the nurses and doctors and sees the positive effect they have on people like Choji and Neji. She still waits for Naruto outside the stadium. She wants them to know that she'll be cheering for him and wanted to be the first supporter he saw before entering the stadium. Given how we know these two end up together, this is where Naruto starts to give her his crush on Sakura noticeably, and starts to get a tiny crush on Hinata. We get the "I like weird people like you" line, and Hinata tells him she's going to be sitting where he can find her cheering among all his supporters. Welcome to the plot as usual, because Kishimoto rarely wrote Sakura scenes, until Hinata begins to cough up a lung. And Sakura, Ino, and the other genin try to get her help. Around the attack on the village, the team is Sakura, Shikamaru, Naruto, and Hinata, who stubbornly tagged along despite her condition. Sakura ends up staying back with Shikamaru, because as much as she likes Sasuke, she realizes Naruto and Hinata know him better at this point, and they can probably talk him down from fighting literally a murderer. This means, when they finally get catched up, Hinata gets pinned to a tree, and the squeezing probably ends up reopening her internal wounds. Back to the hospital, girly. But first, giant-tailed beast battle and a funeral. I always forget that there's a funeral. Now, the search for Tsunade and the Sasuke rescue mission would kind of, in this video, have to be compacted. Because Hinata's very hospitalized during the Tsunade search arc. Also, Sakura didn't do much, but now we've given Hinata a valid reason not to have much of a story. She and Lee are chilling in the hospital. Naruto and Sasuke still get into the fight on the roof because they're idiots. Naruto tries to stop them because she's an idiot. And Kakashi stops everything because Hinata's been in the hospital enough, and all three of these children are idiots. Sasuke is having a big feelings called jealousy, and decides maybe I should betray my village. This village needs fucking therapy. Anyways, he goes to leave. Hinata sees him on the street and goes outside to scold him because, hey, it's really late out and you should be getting rest. And Sasuke's like, shouldn't you be in the hospital for your various injuries that keep getting reopened? And Sasuke does the whole knockout thing, but instead of putting Hinata on a bench, he puts her on the hospital steps because he's right, she should be in the hospital. Smartest thing he's done yet. Hinata wakes up and is like, yo, shit's going down. Sasuke might be betraying that village here. And everyone's like, shit, maybe we should do something about it. The rest of the Sasuke are pretty much plays as normal. Naruto and Shikamaru collect allies and go off to almost die and come back without a Uchiha. When everyone's healed up, Naruto begins to pack for his journey with Jiraiya, promising Hinata he'll right. Hinata actually does something brave before he goes and gives him the scarf. Woo! She doesn't tell him the entire meaning behind it, but she does give it to him because this is my video series and I can do what I want. Also, I feel Hinata would be more confident by now, at least a little bit. Not enough to tell him how she feels, but enough to show him that she cares. Tsunade probably offers Hinata an apprenticeship. During the Tsunade search, Naruto had shown her the medical cream stuff Hinata made, and she recognized Hinata had talent. And after meeting the girl, A, she decides the girl this injury-prone should probably know at least the basics of healing. B, she had a talent and personality for medicine. And C, the Byakugan would have been so fucking helpful in Lee's surgery. Hinata accepts, along with Ino and Sakura, but Hinata's the main apprentice, because I said so. That is largely it for part 1. During the blank period, Hinata probably learns healing jutsu and advances her Byakugan. She also becomes closer with the other Geni, especially Ino and Sakura, who help bring her out of her shell more. Naruto's off doing Naruto things, but writes her when he can, and Sasuke's busy, being Sasuke in the Sound Village. Tune in next time for part 2, which, like the anime, will be labeled Shippuden. This is a video I've wanted to do for a while, based off a fic I've been trying to write for a while. If you're interested in more very vague plot things like this, of how I would rewrite series, knowing what we know now as a fan base, feel free to leave series you think I would be interested in below, and how you would change them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye!